Hey guys, happy Monday. Yay, it's Monday. So first let me explain that I would love to upload episode part 1 and 2 of JonBenet Ramsey on CBS because it was so awesome, but I can't because I'm going to get hit with copyrights. So ID was super nice in not giving me a strike. I don't know what CBS is going to do. CBS might give me a strike for this one. So I decided that I'm going to play it safe because I don't want to lose my channel. And I know you guys don't want me to lose my channel. Well, some of you don't. So I'm going to play it safe. And if you do want to see it because you live in the UK, you can't see it anywhere. You have to be on Facebook, and I can upload it to, or I am going to upload it to our JonBenet Ramsey group, and it's just called very plainly JonBenet Ramsey Case, JonBenet Ramsey Case on Facebook, and I will post a link in the description box below. So what made this episode so awesome? Okay, I got to say that forget A&E, forget part 1, forget ID. This single 2 hours was probably the best information I've ever seen on this entire case. And when you see it, you will totally agree with me. What I didn't like about last night's was the 911 operator. It was okay, well, she heard something else. And, they heard this in the headset. And come on, really? Anybody can make anything sound like anything. I mean, you guys know that. So I didn't really care for, it was good, but it wasn't like part 2. Part 2 was whoa. And a couple points that you guys know if I have a big mouth, I got to talk. So some of the things I wanted to discuss about part 2 will go in order. One, I want to say that I love Henry Lee. I've loved this his criminology work for years. I studied him in college. I watched him, when I first started watching ID, I'm like, oh, who is this guy? Plus, he does a lot of work out of New York. And I think he's an amazing criminologist. I mean, the way he pieces shit together, I'm like, man, he's good. So the fact that he was on the CBS special kind of made me like CBS even more, or kind of like the special even more, honestly. But, okay, so let me get down to it. The bottom line is, and spoiler alert, and yes, I'm keeping my hands behind my back, so otherwise I don't like moving them so much because that seems to annoy everyone. So I'm holding them behind my back so I can't annoy people. But okay, so one of the things that he was talking about was that the spider webs, which I was like, you know what? I am pretty good at piecing shit together, and I never thought of that. Maybe because nobody else did either. I don't know. But the spider webs on the window were never touched. How A&E missed that? Because they had good people too, but how A&E missed that, I do not know. But yeah, the spider webs, if someone was crawling in and out of that window, guess what? They would have ruined the spider webs. Try climbing in and out of a window without touching the corners. And the spider webs were untouched. So that I never thought of. So they covered that tonight. But the biggest thing that they covered, and it made perfect sense, is that Burke did it. And I know a lot of people are like, we knew he did it, blah, blah, blah. And okay, cool, whatever. I don't want to believe that my sexy little Burke did it, and Burke, you can cry on my shoulder anytime. I will even come visit you in jail if they decide to prosecute you, because you're so cute. So anyway, okay, so he's a little young for me, but he's still hot. And all right, back on track. So all right, here's the deal. Henry Lee put together a scenario that makes absolutely perfect sense, and that scenario was that Burke was sitting down. Patsy gave Burke a drink and some pineapple because that was his favorite fruit. He said that in an interview when he was 9. And either Patsy went upstairs to get JonBenet or something happened. JonBenet came downstairs and probably stole a piece of pineapple from Burke's food. Burke got mad and snapped. Maybe took a flashlight, took a hammer, took something, and bashed her over the head. And she went down. And she probably died. Burke was probably told to go upstairs and to not come outside, not come downstairs. And he didn't. I guarantee Patsy, and I don't believe John knows any of this at this point. Patsy did the rest. And I think, sit back and think, what would you do? And I know I discussed this on the other video, and I discussed this in my JonBenet Ramsey group, but I would do that. I don't know if I would have gone to the extent she did, like by tying a rope and strangling her and everything else. I don't think I would have the heart to do that. But I understand the panic, I understand the frustration, and I understand the love of my living child as much as my dead child. But no matter what, she couldn't bring JonBenet back. No matter what she did to Burke, she couldn't bring her back. So whether she put rope around her neck to make it look worse, whether she, put some stains on her underwear to make it look like sexual abuse, no matter what she did, she couldn't bring her back. So sending Burke away when she just lost a daughter, probably not the smartest move. All right, let me put it like this. I am somebody who has gone to jail for my child. I would go to jail for my child again. I went the first time for my child, I went the second time for my child, and I went the third time for my child. And it was all about protecting my child. It was about protecting myself and protecting my child. And you know what? I would do it all again. If he ever decides, which he wouldn't, but if he ever decides to bring me back to court, guess what? I would fight him again. I would lose everything I have again to fight for what's best for my child. And that is something that I know a lot of people don't know about. And a lot of people say, oh, I would, I would get him help and blah, blah, blah. But putting him in a system is not going to get him help. That's not going to help Burke at 9 years old. You saw him on interviews. I don't even think that he knew what he did. I think that he just hit her over the head and thought he knocked her out and that she'd be fine. I don't believe that he tied this rope around her or anything else. I think Patsy did that. I think Patsy did that after she was dead or after she believed she was dead. I know that Patsy didn't like public image being displayed, and Patsy didn't want the public to think, oh my God, your son's a murderer. So she concocted this whole thing to protect her child. I would say that most parents would do anything to protect their child. I know, maybe, again, not to that extreme, but most people wouldn't have gone to jail 3 times like I did either to protect their child. And it's something that you just do. I mean, it's maternal instinct. I don't know how to explain it. If my child killed my other child, would I be distraught? Fuck yeah, I'd be distraught. Would I absolutely throw him to the wolves? Fuck no. I'm going to do whatever I can to keep him with me or her with me and to protect them and shelter them and run away to Canada, which I almost did as well, and like, shit, I wish I knew some of you guys then, because then I would have had somewhere to go overseas or the UK or Canada. I didn't know anyone then who lived over there. Well, a few people, but not really. So the point is that when you're desperate and you don't know what to do, your maternal instincts are going to kick in. And like I said, I don't believe John knew. I think John found out much later. I think when the ransom note and everything was in, that she did it all by herself. That I don't even think Burke knew. And I was talking about somebody about this on another YouTube video, that I don't think he knew. I don't think Burke knew. The psychologist tonight asked him a really interesting question, though, that I was like, whoa, good question. Is that, what do you do when you're curious? Anybody. You go out and look for something. If you're curious about what that noise was, unless you're scared out of your mind, you're going to go look to see what that noise was. If you hear bells on Christmas night, you're not going to stay in your bed. You're going to peek out your door and see what's going on. So why did Burke stay in his room the whole time? And, you know, it's funny, though, because like I said, he had the same smile when he was 9 that he did on Dr. Phil. There are so many things that were brought up tonight that made so much sense. And it's sad because it's my Burke. But like I said, Burke, you want to cry on my shoulder, you come right here. You could lay right there. And I think it's a tragedy, a complete travesty of a little girl's life. But at the same time, I don't think destroying Burke's life is going to bring her back. It's not going to do anything. And I know as a mother who, again, has done everything I possibly could to protect my child, include going to jail. I would never, ever put my kids in a system, ever. I would, like, you see all this, you know, tough love shit about putting your kid in jail overnight. I would never. I don't ever want my kids to know the inside of a jail unless they're a corrections officer. It is not a pretty place. And I just did county jail in Iowa. It was nothing. But it's, you do what you got to do for your children. I know some of you out there watching know what I went through. Some of you watching are very good friends of mine. Some of you guys even know Brad, like Sue Klein, who's now in my JonBenet Ramsey group. Yay, Sue! Sue knows Brad and I personally. She knows what I've been through. She knows Brad. She knew Brad before I did. People will do anything to protect their child. So, and I know I would, and I would do it all again tomorrow. And like I said, I respect Patsy for doing what she did because the system is not a pretty place. It wouldn't have gotten Burke the help that he needed. It would have destroyed him. And I can only prove this. Let's see what Brendan's like when he comes out. I can assure you, Brendan is not going to be the same 16-year-old kid. Brendan is going to be institutionalized beyond institutionalized. And being that he went in so young, I don't know if he'll ever recover from it. Some don't. I wouldn't be surprised, and I hate to say this, but I wouldn't be surprised if Brendan does something really fucked up eventually. Then again, honestly, with a stepfather like Scott, he may be pretty good shape because Scott's a authoritarian. I think I said that right. Authoritarian who will tell him what to do, just like institutionalized does. But it's a fucked up world to be in, and no child should ever, ever have to go through it. Again, no child should ever have to die, especially at the hands of their own brother. But accidents happen. So that's what I had to say. You guys know I wasn't going to get you off. Wasn't going to let you off. I shouldn't say get you off. I'm sure my haters are going to love that phrase. But I wasn't going to let you off without stating what I felt on the case and what I felt about part 2. So again, if you want to watch it, you are free to go to Facebook group that I've posted below. It's called the JonBenet Ramsey Case. And it's a lot of making a murderer people, which is one big happy family. But I also brought in a lot of my friends who I know like the case and who really didn't care so much for MAM. But they're in the JonBenet Ramsey case. And make sure you subscribe. And that's it. And since I'm off tomorrow, I will make another video going back to MAM. Because now the whole JonBenet Ramsey, not that it's over, but I feel like we kind of got closure. Like, it's Burke. It is. And I believe it. I believe Henry Lee. But I also like the way that he said that he didn't do it on purpose. Because I don't believe my Burke did it on purpose either. So that's all I got for you tonight. I will see you guys tomorrow. So have a wonderful night. And again, if you want to see the video, you have to subscribe. And you have to go to JonBenet Ramsey Case on Facebook. And me, Laura Larson, and Trish Hammond are all admins. And we like the coolest fucking admins on Facebook. So that's it. So I'll see you guys there. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for another Stephen and Brendan saga with Josh being the murderer. And that's all I got for you. Peace. Subscribe.